सलोनी आप शुरू करिए।
Okay, good. I'm audible?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, Saloni.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Saloni Mundada, and today we are here to celebrate the fourth day of Ganesh Festival 2020-21, organized by Pune branch of WIRC and Vikasa of ICAI jointly with 10 other branches of WIRC of ICAI. Now, I welcome our speaker, C.A. Shruti Gupte, our chairman and treasurer of Pune ICAI, C.A. Sameer Ladha, vice chairman and secretary of Pune ICAI, C.A. Kashinath Pathare, and I would also like to welcome C.A. Chandrakant Kare, chairman of Pimpri Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICAI, and all my dear audience who are present over here. Now, let's begin with the live Lord Ganesh Aarti from Pune branch premises by CA S.G. Mundada.
दुख करता दुख हरता नाची हो माता विनाची पूर्वी पूर्वी प्रेम प्रकाश सर्वांगी सुंदर सिंदूराची हो सिंदूराची पंचीधर के माल मुक्ता फळांची जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ती देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ती ओ श्री मंगल मूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति ओ श्री मंगल मूर्ति रत्न खचित पारा तुझ गौरी कुमारा चंदनाची ओटी कुंकुम केशरा चंदनाची ओटी कुंकुम केशरा हिरे गणिता मुकुट शोभा शोभरा रणधरती नूपुरे ऋणधरती नूपुरे चरणी भागरिया जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति ओ श्री मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति ओ श्री मंगल मूर्ति पीतांबर फणिवर बंधना शरण सुंदर वस्त्र त्रिनयना संकटी पावे निर्वाणी रक्षावे सुरवर वंदना जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति ओ श्री मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति ओ श्री मंगल मूर्ति कायं लोकांबर बंदेन चरण कोयानि पाहिन रूपसुते प्रेम आनंद पूजय भावे कुमारिन मनेन त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव बन्धु सखा त्वमेव विद्या चोरं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवि कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियेण बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिः करोमि परं मे नारायणाय समर्पयामि अचिन्तनवेशनामनाय कृष्णनामोऽयं
गणपति बप्पा मंगल मूर्ति जय गणेश।
सलोनी आप शुरू करिए।
Ganpati Bappa Moria. After being blessed by Lord Ganesh, I would like to invite C.A. Chandrakant Sir, Chairman of Pimpri Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICAI, to present the opening remark. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Saloni, for giving this Master of Ceremony. First, I would like to thank Mundada sir for performing the Ganesh Puja in the Pune branch. At the same time, I would like to appreciate the efforts taken by the Pune branch for organizing this Ganesh festival. And not only that, but I also would like to thank all the Pune branch team for not only they have restricted themselves, but also they have involved all other branches, sorry, all other branches into this. And therefore, it is really appreciable from all of us from here. Friends, today, when there are various programs being organized every day on various topics, today the topic that we have is the success saga stories of empowered women of mythology. Miss, I don't know, but C.A. Shruti Gupta is going to talk to us on this particular subject. When we talk about the myths, most of the time it relates to the religion or legendary people, and basically this gives us the context into the world. It talks about the our literature, our beliefs, and therefore myths are very, very important in anybody's life. It talks about the actual events that has taken place, and therefore it relates to the not only to the literature, but also it relates to the culture that we have in our country. uh, it also explains the why the things are moving or the way it is happening in today's world, but it also explains the historical events which, by when we discuss about those, then they are kept alive in our hearts. And therefore the study of mythology becomes very, very important. And therefore I hope that today's topic is more related to such mythologies which will not only enrich or keep there whatever the we are going to talk about the success stories about the empowered women, and therefore those whatever work they have done, I think that is going to again bring the light in our hearts. And the work what they have done will naturally will help us to understand why such work has been undertaken by them and what is the extraordinary work done by them. And therefore this affects the all this work of such great women's. They affect the art, literature, as I said, the culture of our country. And therefore I do believe that whatever the today's uh, speaker is going to talk to us is really going to make a big impact and effect is going to affect our lives also. With this with brief introduction, I would like to again thank all the team who is organizing this event here. And also I would like to welcome the speaker of the day, and I'm pretty sure that we are all eager to hear from her. And therefore, without speaking much about it, I would like to hand it over to Miss Saloni to take it further from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, C.A. Shruti Gupte. Shruti Gupte is a chartered accountant by profession and currently pursuing a career in the corporate as a writer by passion. Her first book, Mahabharata, five women who held court before the war's teacher in top 100 debut novel list. She also frequently writes blogs on female characters from mythology. She is a disciple of Guru Dr. Sucheta Chetekar, a dancer, lover of literature, connoisseur of French and Sanskrit. Shruti ma'am is a mother of 4-year-old son. Feminism isn't about making women strong. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength. The empowered woman is powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description. I request C. Shruti ma'am to address our audience on success saga stories of empowered women of mythology. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me to join this festival. It is always homecoming experience to be with ICI Pune because ICI Pune is my alma mater. Sarjayati Sindhuravadano Devo Yatpada Pankajasmaranam Vasarmaniravatammasam Rashim Nashayati Vignanam. Lord Ganesh, the Lord who removes our obstacles and leads us to the path of success. The Lord Ganesh is a son of Shiva and Parvati. Shiva, also known as Panchavaktra, manifests conscience representing 5 senses, and Parvati, the nature representing 5 elements of nature: Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, and Akash. The unity of 5 senses with conscience, with 5 elements of nature, leads us to a search of wisdom, representing Lord Ganesha. And therefore, celebration of Ganesh festival is celebration of wisdom. So, since ancient time, a wisdom is being shared in the form of stories. And therefore, today, to celebrate Ganesh festival, I'm going to share with you stories of 5 empowered women from mythology. They have their mention in Vedic literature. Some of them have mentioned some of them are part of great Indian epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. And so we would think that those are ancient women and how they are relevant to our times. But these ancient women are so progressive that the thought and actions of these women are also relevant for our current times. Not only that, those thoughts and actions are also relevant for our journey as a professional. So, the first women character that I would like to talk about is Vidushi Gargi. We have her mentioned in Vedic literature. Vidushi Gargi is one of the Indian scholars who have a quest of seeking knowledge, and she is known as Gargi Vichaknavi to indicate that she is daughter of sage Vichaknu in the lineage of sage Garga. Alternatively, Gargi means the person who inspires us to think and Vachak Navi means the person who speaks of her mind. Gargi Nichak Navi, therefore, lives up to her name with her thinking ability and ability to speak of her mind. From a young age, Gargi shows keen interest in seeking knowledge and becomes proficient in the field of philosophy. With her inquisitive mind, she questions everything around her. Why does the world exist? As she grows up, the depth of her thinking gets widened. She starts thinking of more complex questions like what binds the sky to the earth? Why do we imagine? Why do we flatter ourselves with imagination? Gargi's inquisitiveness boggles others. It even makes others angry because it is commonly observed that people seek validation for their knowledge and they do not generally like being questioned, isn't it? But Gargi persists undeterred as she knows that inquisitiveness makes her wise. Gargi is the one of the renowned scholar in the court of Janak, father of Sita and king of Videha. So this name of kingdom as Videha itself means beyond the body. And in this court of Janak, the eminent sage scholars have conversed and debated. And these eminent debates make up Upanishad, a treasure of wisdom. And Gargi is one of the participants of these debates and wisdom. There is a famous legend of a debate between Gargi Vachaknavi and sage Yajnavalkya. During this debate, Gargi poses metaphysical questions about the nature of existence, consciousness, and impermanence. This debate helps us to expound the epistemic doctrine of neti neti, means not this, not this. Not this help us to discover the universal self that is underlying evidence of the existence of this world. In today's time, when our mind sometimes gets boggled with the loads of information thrown at us at every point in this digital world, somebody like Gargi inspires us to think and not just accept. She also inspires us to speak of our mind. In the world, abide by rules. Gargi's quest of inquisitiveness guides us to challenge. As a chartered accountant, as an auditor, each one of us, I think, should aspire to be like Gargi. We must think about each piece of information and apply professional judgment before accepting the same. We must learn from Vidushi Gargi to challenge the thing and not just accept them at their face value. We must learn from her to use our professional judgment, isn't it? The debate between Gargi Vachaknavi and sage Yajnavalkya is an ongoing debate between an auditor and management. That's how I look at it. The metaphysical questions posed by Vidushi Gargi about the nature of existence, consciousness, and impermanence are the guiding principles in the process of audit to find out the underlying evidence during the current times. And these principles will help us to ensure that financial statements give true and fair view. Now, I will move on to the next character, the second character, Sati Anusuya. Word Anusuya is composed of two Sanskrit words, Na and Asuya. Na is a negative prefix which means absence, and Asuya means jealousy. So Anusuya means absence of jealousy. Sati Anusuya is a compassionate woman. Anusuya is daughter of Devahuti and sage Kardam. She has a brother who is known as Sage Kapil, who is also her teacher, and 8 sisters who are all married to different sages. Anusuya is married to Sage Atri. She lives with her husband in a small hermitage on the border of Chitrakoot forest. Do we remember something when we hear name Chitrakoot? Yes, it has mentioned in Ramayana. And so Ram, Lakshman and Sita visit Anusuya during their exile. During this visit, Anusuya thanks Sita with mother's love and shares with her a secret of her eternal beauty. Because Anusuya is so compassionate that her compassion makes her beautiful. And if we see the rest of the story of Ramayana, we see that Sita also has similar kind of characteristics. There is a famous narrative about Sati Anusuya. Anusuya is known for her chastity. She is known everywhere in the world, and everybody is praising her for her chastity. 3 goddesses, Lakshmi, Parvati, and Saraswati, also want to learn from her. Therefore, they request their husbands to go and ask her permission so that they can visit her in human form. The Divine Trinity go to Anusuya in disguise of sages and ask permission for their wives in the form of Diksha. But they put very strange condition, a condition that she should serve them naked. At first, Anusuya is perplexed with this strange condition. However, she thinks, and with her yogic powers, she turns Trinity into 6-year-old baby and feeds them with motherly affection. The Trinity turned into 3-headed sun, popularly known as Datta. Datta means given or granted. If we look at this, Datta is known as surveyor of the current times, and this narrative of Anusuya reveals the secret of professional success in the current competitive world. Let's think about this story logically. The strange condition put forward by Trinity is the challenge of this competitive world. However, Sati Anusuya takes it in a positive spirit. She is innovative in her thought by finding out solution to this condition. She is passionate in her actions, which gives her power to turn Trinity into babies. And most importantly, she is compassionate in her heart, which allows her to feed Trinity as her son. The outcome of her innovativeness, passion, and compassion is gift to this world, Datta. Despite the fierce competition we face, if we as a professional try to be like Anusuya, who is innovative, passionate, and at the same time compassionate, I'm sure we all can make positive contribution towards our society. Do you agree? Okay. So I would like to turn to third character. This character is from Mahabharata, Ganga, are you able to hear me? Ganga, the most revered river of India, personifies herself in the story of Mahabharata. And when I look at this story, I think there should be some reason. Shantanu, a king of Hastinapur and the youngest son of Prapita, sees beautiful maiden on the bank of river Ganga and proposes her to marry with him. This beautiful maiden that is seen on the bank of river Ganga is Ganga itself. Ganga puts forward her prenuptial conditions for Shantanu that he must never ask her about the origin or question her on any of her action. He must stand by her on all the conditions and on all accounts. If he acts against any of these conditions, she will leave him then and there. The king, who is so much in love with her, accepts Ganga's conditions. On these crystal clear prenuptial conditions, Shantanu and Ganga get married. Shantanu and Ganga live a life of love and happiness until their first child is born. Ganga takes newborn to the river and drowns him in the water. Shantanu is shocked, but he stops himself from asking anything. As the years pass, Ganga gives birth to 6 more children, and she does the same thing, drowns her own children in the river water. Shantanu asks no questions and bears the pain with restraint. Are you able to see me? Can you please confirm?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So sorry, but I think I was telling you story of Ganga. So now 7 children are born and they are drawn into the river water by Ganga. When 8th child is born and Ganga walks to the river with the same intention, Shantanu can no longer hold himself. He stops her from drowning the child in the water. Ganga reminds him of her conditions and tells him that the time has come to leave him. Now, until this, the character of Ganga seems to be mysterious. We may even rush to call her a heartless woman or even an insane to drown her own children in the water to kill them. However, as the story progresses, the mystery unfolds. Before leaving Shantanu, Ganga tells him her true origin and the reason for her actions. She reveals him that 8 children born to them are 8 Vasus, the 8 elemental gods representing aspects of the nature. They are born as a result of curse of sage Vashishta. The 8 Vasus, while traveling with their wives, come across ashram of sage Vashishta. One of the wives is fascinated with the divine cow of sage Vashishta, Nandini. She requests her husband, Prabhas, to bring the cow to her. Prabhas tries to convince his wife not to pray for the cow. They are God. Why do they need cow? However, the wife makes desperate request which melts Prabhasa's heart. Then the 8 Vasu take Nandini and her cart by force and disappear before Prabhasa, sage Vashishta's return. When sage Vashishta returns and finds Nandini missing, he curses 8 Vasus to be born as a mortal. The 8 Vasus ask sage for his forgiveness. Vashishta tells him that the curse has to follow its course, but the effect of it can be reduced. He gives them a way out. He suggests them to request Ganga to be mother on earth and to ask her to relieve them of their mortal life as soon as they are born, so that they do not have to suffer. After this, 8 Vasus approach Ganga and request her to be their mother on the earth. Now, the actions of Ganga start making sense to us. She does not drown her 8th son, who is Prabhas, the one who actually steals the cow, but takes him with her. She returns this son to Shantanu after he has learned Vedas and is skilled in all form of sciences and archery. This son is none other than Devavrat, popularly known as Bhishma. Due to Bhishma means the one who has taken terrible wounds. When we throw a light on Bhishma's life, the actions of Ganga actually make even more sense to us. Because although being the most perfect character, Bhishma can never rule the kingdom. Although being the eldest one in the Kuru dynasty, he can never uphold his authority. Although having a boon to choose his time of death, because his father Shantanu gives him that boon, still he lives long and suffers. He is there to fight a war of Kurukshetra. Although being a hermit because of his vow of celibacy, I think he has bottomless attachments to this material world. So, the story of Ganga in Mahabharata depicts her commitment and courage, a commitment to the purpose and the courage of the actions. Now looking at character of Ganga as the longest river, we understand these qualities more clearly. The river Ganga flows from the mountains of Himalaya to the Bay of Bengal. While flowing, it cuts through rocks because of its commitment and courage. Through her own story in the great epic Mahabharata, Ganga shows her commitment to the greater cause. This commitment enables her to have detachment to the results and gives the courage of actions. Therefore, the sacred river Ganga unfolds the secret of liberation through her own story. So now, how story of Ganga and her message is relevant for you and me as professional? I think we as professional must show similar commitment to the greater cause and courage of actions while doing our professional work. We are pillars in the field of finance, so our commitment and courage will help us to achieve liberation in the financial world in terms of risk and frauds, isn't it? Also, at a personal level, it will help us to seek liberation while carrying out professional work. Now, I would like to take fourth character of Shakuntala. She has mentioned in Mahabharata because she is ancestor of Kauravas and Pandavas. So the story goes like this. A king called Kaushik, a descendant of Solar dynasty, wants to become a sage. So he gives up all his material possessions takes the vow of celibacy and starts performing ascetic practices. He starts fierce tapasya. If successful, he would become more powerful than anybody in the world. Fearing that, Indra sends Apsara called Menaka to distract Kaushik. Menaka is the most beautiful damsel of Swarga. Kaushik loses all control of his senses when she dances before him. He abandons his tapasya, forgets vow of celibacy, and surrenders to Menaka. From that union, a girl is born. But the child is abandoned by both of her parents. However, a sage called Kanva finds the abandoned girl. He finds her under the wings of a flock of Shakun birds. So he names her Shakuntala, means the one who is found sheltered by birds, Shakun birds. Sage Kanva raises her as his own daughter in his ashram. Shakuntala grows up as a beautiful and loving woman. One day, Dushyanta, a descendant of lunar dynasty, comes to Kanva's ashram while sage Kanva is away on a pilgrimage. In his absence, Shakuntala welcomes him. Eventually, Dushyanta falls in love with her. He proposes her. The innocent Shakuntala, smitten by handsome king, marries him. With the trees as their witness. This marriage with trees as witness is called Gandharva Vivaha. Shakuntala and Dushyanta spend days in ashram making love. Sage Kanva does not return for a long time, and Dushyanta cannot wait any longer. He thinks that it is not right to take her while Sage is away. So he goes back to his kingdom. Many weeks later, Sage Kanva returns. He gets to know that his daughter is pregnant with her lover's child. He is delighted. Both daughter and father wait for Dushyanta to return. He doesn't return. In due course, Shakuntala gives birth to a son. The son grows up in the care of Shakuntala and Sage Kanva. However, one day the son asks, "Who is my father?" Then it is decided that instead of waiting for Dushyanta to return, Shakuntala would go to him and introduce the son to his father. Shakuntala, with her son by her side, ventures out of the forest. She reaches in the court of Dushyanta. However, when Shakuntala meets Dushyanta and introduces herself and her son, Dushyanta does not recognize her. When he asks, "Are there any witness to our marriage?" Innocent Shakuntala replies, "Yes, the trees." Everyone in the court, including Dushyanta, laughs. Shakuntala, a simple woman, uncontaminated by the politics, shows her courage. She says, "I have come here not to seek a husband, but to show my son his father. I have done so. I have raised him as mother should. Now I request you to raise him as a father should." Saying so, she turns back and proceeds for the forest. Dushyanta realizes his mistake and then declares Shakuntala as his queen and Bharat, son of Shakuntala, as his heir. Bharat is unique king, a descendant of solar dynasty through his mother Shakuntala and lunar dynasty through his father Dushyanta. Since his descendants ruled India, the land itself called after as call after him as Bharat. So, the individualism and perseverance shown by Shakuntala astonishes us. As a professional, I think we must all show similar kind of individualism and perseverance while doing our professional work. Because of Shakuntala's individualism and perseverance, her son Bharat becomes the emperor. Now, I would like to move on to the last character, the fifth one, Shabri. We all have heard about Shabri. We have all heard about the story of Shabri as an old woman in Ramayana. We all know that while searching Sita, Ram comes in Shabri's ashram. She receives him with great devotion and offers him sweet berries that are tasted by her. But only few of us would know the whole story of Shabri. Let me share that story with you. Shabri is born in a shepherd family. Around the same time of her birth, the sheep in her house gives birth to a lamb. Shabri grows up playing with this lamb and taking care of it. As she grows up, her family members start looking forward to her marriage. It is eventually fixed. In their community, it is a ritual to cook mutton as a feast for marriage ceremony. Everybody around her is happy about it, except for little Shabri. She is nervous with the thought that cute little lamb that she loves so much, with which she has grown up, has to die for a feast of her marriage. And so, this little caring girl runs away with her lamb from her house a night before her marriage. She runs away into deep forest with a fear that her family members would come and search for her and seize this little lamb from her. She spends the night sitting on higher branch of tree in this forest. Next morning, sage Matanga is passing by the same forest with his disciples and happens to stop under the same tree on which Shabri is sitting with her lamb. They get startled as the bunch of leaves falls on them. Our little Shabri is plucking leaves of trees with one hand and feeding it to lamb while curling the lamb in the other hand. The sage is touched by this loving and caring gesture. He requests Shabri to come down, but Shabri is scared with the thought that people have come to take away lamb from her. However, sage kindly asks young disciple to go up and to help her to come down. Scared only when this disciple assures her that nobody would seize or even touch her dear lamb, Shabri comes down. Then Sage Matanga asks her whereabouts. She tells them everything. How much she loves that lamb, how she used to play with it, and how people from her family want to kill this little lamb because they want to feast on it during her marriage. And then she tells him that instead of being married, I would like to stay alone with my little lamb. After listening to her story, Sage Matanga takes this little girl to his ashram. In this ashram, Sage Matanga lets her to move around freely wherever she wants and do whatever she wants. little Shabri is moving around the ashram with her little lamb. She's playing with it, and nobody is bothering her. However, one day, lamb runs away in the forest. Then, for one moment, Shabni thinks that the purpose of her life is lost. She asks Sage Matanga, "Now, what should I do?" Sage kindly asks her to help him. And Shabdi says, "I'm so little, how can I help?" Then he he says that okay, go and collect flowers for worship. Flowers are very important part of worship. Shabdi goes and collects flowers. Like this, the sage keeps adding little tasks that would keep this little Shabri engaged. Shabri does everything with great love and devotion. Sage Matanga, who is great in his austerities, is pleased with her honesty. He actually treats her as his disciple and gives her lessons. Eventually, Shabri turns up as a dedicated disciple who seeks knowledge. She served Sage for many years, and she is actually chief of she is actually chief of his ashram, taking care of everything in the ashram. Now, when the sage is about to die, little Shabri, now this Shabri has again thought that the purpose of her life is lost. She asks the same question. What should I do now? Take me with you. I have been with you all the time. Now, what is the reason for me to be on this earth? Sage asks him to wait, to await Ram's arrival. He says that now Ram is the purpose of your life. And little Shabri trusts him. Following his advice, Shabri awaits Ram's arrival, not just for few days, few months, but for many years. However, she does not lose her faith. Every day, every morning, she would get up early and cleans entire ashram so that wherever Ram comes, he can find her ashram neat and clean. With the help of walking stick, she would go out and pluck berries for Ram. She would pluck one, taste it, and if it is sweet, then put it in the basket and discarding the bitter berries. This she would do every day, every week, every month, and for years together. And then we know that while searching for Sita, one day Ram comes into her ashram. Shabri's joy has no bound. She has found the purpose of her life. She has achieved the goal of her life, visit of Ram. And we all know that the story is shared as the highest level of bhakti, faith. The kind of faith that Shabri has shown inspires us and leads us to the path of devotion. I think as a professional, we must be dedicated like Shabri to achieve our professional goals. With great integrity, we must have faith. We must have faith like Shabri that our honest goals will be achieved one day. And we must pursue our dream with great devotion. This integrity will help us to pluck the berries of right professional work while discarding the rest. I truly believe that being a Shabri will help us to find Ram in our work, isn't it? So today I talked about 5 different women. Those are all. Those are there are stories. There are stories told about them, and we have heard these stories for years together. We all of I'm sure that most of us have heard about them, but it is time to reinterpret them, to unlearn the things and relearn new things with new perspective. And this new perspective is a wisdom. And today, while celebrating the festival of wisdom, Ganesh Festival, I'm glad that I have opportunity to share these stories with you and trying to interpret them with different perspective. I hope this would be helpful in our professional journey. I would like to thank each and every one of you for listening these stories, and I I pray to God that the wisdom that these characters have shown to us would lead us all to the path of success. With this, I would like to thank and complete my.
Madam Sal.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words. I would like to conclude regarding empowerment women. Don't ever make decisions based on fear. Make decisions based on what should happen. Make decisions based on what should happen, what shouldn't happen. Am I right, ma'am? Empowered.
Yes,
According to Michelle Obama, first lady of America, she said once, there's power in allowing yourself to be known and heard, in knowing your unique story, in using your authentic voice. Now, I would like to hand over to C. Chandrakant sir, Chairman of Picnic Engagement Branch of ICAC, for the vote of thanks regarding today's Ganesh Festival, which is organized by Pune branch.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank CA Shruti Gupte madam for her wonderful presentation and what she spoke here today evening on the occasion of Ganpati festival. She had spoken about the 5 ancient ladies who possesses different characteristics, and those characteristics she has related with our profession, where she spoke about Vidushi Gargi, where she says that she has the zest to analyze the things, and she has related her work to our auditing profession. At the same time, she spoke about Anusaya, who who is very innovative and passionate about her work. She also spoke about Ganga, who is a character of commitment and courage, where she says that what we should learn is in our profession. She spoke about the Shakuntala, where her characteristics is with individualism and perseverance, where we should have that in our profession. And in the end, she spoke about Shabri, who is who is a faithful person and who has shown honesty in her work. And this is what she has tried to explain us the mythologies of all these ancient ladies, and she has correlated with our profession, how we should uh, commit ourselves to our profession with honesty and achieve the goals that we want to achieve in our life. Yes, madam, you are very clear in your thoughts, and your presentation and your speech was very well inspiring to all of us. no doubt in the beginning I said that when we talk about the mythologies, we speak about the historical events, and those make a very big difference or impact on our beliefs, our culture, our literature. And really, by what you said, that we should learn, we should unlearn and relearn all those things. And this is what I also believe, and most of us who are watching us live on this YouTube must have realized that yes, this is again we have to relearn all these things, and we should remember what these characters have played an important role at those times, and which are very important in these modern times also. So with this, I would like to again, once again, thank, on behalf of the Pune branch, I would like to thank you, madam, on all behalf of all the branches who have jointly been who has organized this Ganesh Festival program, where Pune branch has taken the initiative of hosting it. All other branches are co-host for all these events. Once again, I would like to thank you. I also thank Saloni Mundada for giving a very good master of ceremony to this program. I also thank the Pune managing committee team, the entire branch staff who has been the people behind the curtains to ensure that this program is coming live to all of us, and their efforts are really appreciable. So again, I I thank them for all the efforts they have taken to organize this event. And I also thank all the participants who are listening to us and who are watching us live. I also request them, as they have till today they have been with the branch and they are watching us live, the programs that we are organizing every day. I request them that they should give their attendance every day and take the advantage of such learned persons who will be on this platform every day, and we will try to learn from their knowledge and wisdom that they are going to give us. With this, I would like to thank all of you, and in the end, I would like to say once again happy Ganesh festival to all of you. And very importantly, I would like to say, please keep yourself safe and healthy, because times are adverse, and the pandemic is still around, and therefore keep very good, please take very good care of yourself. With this, I would like to say thank you and good night to you, all of you. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.